Hello there and welcome to CNR Extra on CCTV, coming to you live from our studios at number 5 Ola Hansen Lane, Tesano, Accra. My name is Philip Ni Latte. Coming up, Ghana Education Service fact-finding mission arrives in a Ghana Senior High School in Tamale to ascertain the veracity of reports that toilet cubicles have been converted into accommodation facilities for boys.
We have received a bit of reports, therefore we decided to come from GS headquarters to find things for ourselves in a way to corroborate with whatever the report is in the media or otherwise.
Electricity Company of Ghana disconnects the Accra Technical University for non-payment of debt amounting to 1.37 million Ghana cedis.
We are also a state agency. If we don't get our money to operate, we can also come to a close. And that may affect all other people we supply. So we can't allow that to happen because of a few customers.
Electoral Commission EC sets May 23, 2023 as a date for by-election to be held in the Kumu constituency. And later on CNR Extra, National Fisheries Association of Ghana called support of the Ghana Navy to undertake fishing activities as piracy increases.
We are getting signals that the pirates are coming back. So we hope to go back and meet with the Navy to see what it is that we could do together to carry that process forward.
CNR Extra is live on CCTV. You can join us with your thoughts, submissions, and comment via WhatsApp line 0204447033, and you can join us on YouTube as we stream there live on CCTV. Ni Latte, you are welcome.
Thank you, Philip. It's been a while, but good to be here.
It's been a while.
Yeah. I hope all is well.
All is well, my brother. Let's bring you the very first story, and that has to do with the Ghana Education Services fact-finding mission that has arrived at Ganasco in Tamale to ascertain the reports that came out that toilet cubicles have been converted into dormitories.
The Education Service has sent a delegation on a fact-finding mission to the Ghana Senior High School in Tamale to ascertain the veracity of reports that toilet cubicles have been converted into accommodation facility for boys. Now, this comes after the Ghana Education Service asked the headmaster as well as the senior housemaster of the school to step aside following a viral video which indicated that students were using converted toilet cubicles as a boys' dormitory. Another regional correspondent, Dinah Ngwan, reports.
The Ghana Education Services delegation to the school on Monday morning, which was made up of the Deputy Director General of Ghana Education Service, Stephen Kweku Owusu, the Acting Northern Regional Director of Education, and others, inspected the said Gbanzaba dormitory and the cubicles which were said to be toilet facilities that were converted into an accommodation facility. During the inspection, the team saw about 5 cubicles which were originally designed as a toilet facility being occupied with students' trunk, chop boxes, and gallons. From observation, the said cubicles have never been used as toilet facilities, but rather looked as though an uncompleted facility. The Deputy Director General in charge of Management Services of the Ghana Education Service, Stephen Kweku Owusu, speaking to the media after visiting the school, said findings of their mission will be made public after the Director General is briefed.
GS management's attention was drawn to media circulation of a video circulating in the media regarding the management of this school. I'm talking about Ghana School, putting students in a toilet, on a toilet. And we decided that the regional director should come down here to find out the truth of the report. We have received a bit of reports, therefore we decided to come from GS headquarters to find things for ourselves in a way to corroborate with whatever the report is in the media or otherwise. So that is why I'm here. I'm here detailed by the Director General of Ghana Education Service to come to the school to find out how the situation is so that management can make the final decision on this. So that is why I'm here. What I can say now is that because I was sent by a Director General, it will be proper I get back to him and submit my report to him. So if it becomes very necessary for us to engage the media again, we will let you know what is happening. Actually, there is no way that we can hide whatever facts that we have from the media because it's already in the media. So we will get back to you. And we are so much grateful for your support so far. Whatever it is, we will let you know.
The Northern Regional Minister, Shani Alasan Shaibu, also visited the school to get first-hand information.
The observations that we have made is that there are not all those points in the cubicles that were originally meant to be used as washrooms were even closed. And these things have been there, have been in that use for a very long time. So for somebody to say that students are using them as dormitories could not be true. It's unfounded because the space in between those cubicles cannot even permit a bed or a mattress to be laid, let alone to be used as a dormitory. So I do not know. But there were other positive things that the reporter could have reported on, because we have new facilities, washrooms and bath facilities that have been scattered around the I can see two on this side, newly built, in use. He could have reported on those things too, if he actually wanted to do a balanced reportage. But he chose to do a one-sided false statement and leave. Just, I don't know, maybe for want of his own expression, he decided to do that. And I would call it irresponsible journalism, and it should be treated as such.
Ghana Senior High School, since its establishment in 1960, has produced prominent personalities in the country. It has a current population of about 3,000. However, the said dormitory, which toilet facility is alleged to have been converted into dormitories, has a capacity of about 120, but currently houses less than the maximum number. This new 800 capacity Get Fund dormitory facility was recently commissioned to house students. Some students have also been speaking to City News on the situation.
Where they say was toilet wasn't actually toilet, because since we came in with years back, we've never seen it to be any. There is no material there that you will, maybe you see that it will be a feature of maybe toilet or something like that. But with the actual fact, we have extra spaces in the dormitories to be allowing other students to go there to sleep. The only thing that is there is that those people from far places, maybe from Volta region, Accra, and then all those stuff, when they are going back to their houses, they don't carry their chop boxes and their mattresses there. So they only keep their mattresses, their gallons, and everything of theirs there. So when they come back, they also come back and pick them back into their various rooms.
But some of your colleagues said they lodged in that cubicle.
Actually, there's no one sleeping there. It's only when after prep, when someone wants to study, after prep, the classrooms are always locked. No one is allowed to study in the classroom. So after prep, when the person maybe wants to learn throughout the night, that's where they go in there and then have their studies just for the night. And then maybe sometimes some people also with the midnight prayer, the Muslim prayers, some people also go there to have their midnight prayer, since the mosque sometimes is always locked. That's what they also do.
So they are prayer mats. But we saw mattresses in there.
Yes, that is what I said. When those who are going back to their various homes.
And some of your colleagues were in there as well.
Yes, sometimes because the top boxes are there, they just sometimes just sit there. Some people also just sit there too.
Are you saying this because the investigation is out already?
No, that's the truth. That's the truth. There's no one sleeping there. Then there's no one. Even those that are always in campus, their chop boxes are not always there. It's only those that are always at home.
We are at home by then.
So those that are at vacation, that is the place they always keep their things. That's the only thing. And maybe sometimes those that are always inside there is maybe those that bring their jars of water. So we don't put the water inside the dormitory. That's where we also keep the water. So when they come and then put their jars of water there, that's when they get there to take their water and go and bath.
Do you personally go there to study?
I have done that sometimes before.
Meanwhile, all students of the school have expressed disappointment in the report, insisting that there are enough bed spaces for students in the school. Alhaji Baba Yakubu is the president of the All Students Association.
Apart from this building, Cabral Banzaba House, we have a building. In fact, I wouldn't call it an abundance, but we have a building, an occupied building that had previously been used as accommodation. But because we have more than enough to take care of the students in respect of accommodation, we have moved the students to the new building that was put out. And that building is there unoccupied. So accommodation for students isn't a problem at all, let alone to force them to sleep in the cubicles that was showcased to the whole public. What Madam says is this: the facility is there unoccupied, and most of the students are coming from very far places. As we speak, only the second-year students are here, even few. Many of them are still at home. So it will not be proper for us to expect the children to carry their chop boxes, mattresses, and everything home whenever school is not in session. So it is through resource students, and that is so because it is a facility meant for student accommodation. So they could have been there for a different thing other than what was sold out to the general public. It is very clear that, yes, the rooms were originally designed to serve for the purpose of toilet facilities. I am an old student of this very house, Gbanzaba House. I entered Ghana School in 1993 and left in 1995. Within the period, I found myself as a student for 3 clear years. The facility was never used as a toilet. And my inquiry has even moved back to even 70s, 80s, and 90s. The place has never been used for toilet facility, let alone for the school to think of converting it when we even have excess capacity for residential accommodation for the student.
Nonetheless, there are some newly constructed toilet facilities which are yet to be opened for use. Management insists that the place was not a toilet facility and it was never converted into a dormitory for students. According to them, there's excess accommodation to house students here. From Ghana School, I am Dinah Ungwan, reporting for City News.
Meanwhile, the Member of Parliament for Tamale South Constituency, Haruna Idrisu, has commended the Ghana Education Service for instituting an independent inquiry into a purported video alleging that toilet cubicles have been converted into dormitories at the Ghana Senior High School. Now, the purported video has caused outrage on social media and raised concerns about the safety and well-being of the students under the free SHS policy. However, in a statement, the Tamale South MP wants the government to take a comprehensive review of the infrastructure requirements in the school to support effective teaching and learning while he awaits the report from the investigations.
So, good initiative by the Ghana Education Service to send a fact-finding delegation there to ascertain the veracity of the reports. The journalist, on the other hand, says that, well, what he reported is correct. Government is also saying that what has been reported is not what it pertains in the institution. The All Students Association also said the same. The regional minister, that is the Northern Regional Minister, also says that there are a lot of dormitories or accommodations for the students, and that this is in a way bad journalism amongst others. But this tells me one thing, that the media is strong. The fact that this issue has taken the attention of the nation, and all the various stakeholders involved have moved to the school to ensure that, or to find out exactly what really the issue is, tells you one thing, that people are really keen or really interested in what happens in the educational sector.
Well, you may want to see it as a very trivial matter, but because of the fact that it has taken center stage in the media, it should tell you how concerning this particular subject matter is. First, let me commend the Ghana Education Service for that swift intervention to ensure that there is a probe into this particular matter. However, I was thinking that they should have left the investigations at let's say, the metropolitan level or even the regional level, for them to first find out their preliminary probe before the national comes in. However, the Ghana Education Services...
the interdiction came from national, so certainly national has to be involved in this issue.
Exactly. I'm talking about the investigation, not the interdiction of the headmaster, but the actual investigation of what actually is happening in the school. Because usually that's how decentralization of various forms of, decentralization occurs. Let's see what the Metro's director has been able to gather in that regard, the regional, and then before national may step in. Be as it may, national has stepped in. So let's go. But for me, my issue is that this particular issue does not bode well for the education sector. Be as it may, not to hold brief for anyone. But two things. The headmaster says the situation is untrue. What the journalist reported is false. Even for the regional ministers to say that this is bad journalism, I think it's quite unfair to even say that. And not to hold brief for the journalist too. I do not know to what end, for all intent and purposes, why would he try to do a story that will tarnish the image of the school? And so it's very difficult, and it is only the probe that will bring this particular matter to rest. And I'm even surprised at the silence of the Ministry of Education. Weeks ago, we heard the Minister of Education talking about how improvement in the education sector have been ever since he took over as minister and when President Akufo-Addo took office since 2017. Fair enough, but one thing stands out, that the issue of free senior high school and the review of it must always come to the table when we talk about education in the country. We may want to trivialize this matter, and for me, I've always said that for every iota of allegation or accusation, there is always a portion of truth in there. So let's not treat this particular matter with case gloves and let's say that, well, that's not the situation, it's bad journalism. So, because a lot of things are happening in various senior high schools across the country. A lot of things are happening. Even when we're in school, some of the challenges.
So you think this raised the concerns of the infrastructure deficit that we have in the various schools, i.e. the dormitories, the lecture halls, and a number of them that are not in these schools, but we have a lot of these students trooping into the various schools because of this free senior high school policy.
Exactly, and for me, I think the headmaster just wants to, play it safe because of fear of being sanctioned for even letting this particular subject matter come out, if indeed that is the case, because the kind of system we play in this part of the country.
You'll be victimized.
You'll be victimized. So for me, first step the headmaster will always take is to deny, and that is the. And I want the mission, the fact-finding mission, to be clear with this scope, what exactly they intend to do. The findings should be made public because, look, we have seen instances where people, study under trees. We've seen schools under trees. We've seen people having meals under trees. And now we are having, be as it may, the facility is not in use currently as a toilet facility. Maybe it was designated as such, but it's not being used. Are students sleeping there? If students are sleeping there, you claim that you have a lot of accommodation facilities. Why is it the case? I just don't want this particular issue to just slide because it has a national, perspective because it's not only in Ganasco in Tamale. I bet you if you go to any of the senior high schools across the country, you realize that the situation is that even when we were not many in school, we've seen people try because of lack of beds, they have to use their chop boxes, they have to use their trunks. And so for me, aside from the case in Ganasco, I want to believe that the Ghana Education Service, as well as the Ministry of Education, will broaden its probe, go around the country and check what the situation actually is in all senior high schools in the country, and not just trivialize this particular matter and then make it look as if it's bad journalism. Because for me, I'm struggling to even find why the journalists will go into the school make a report just to tarnish the image of the school?
Well,
it's
we'll
quite
wait for
difficult to comprehend.
We'll wait for what the fact-finding mission will come out with, but this has to do with the issue of accommodation on infrastructure. And yesterday, during the tour of the former President John Dramani Mahama in the Oti region, he also made mention of the fact that this can be attributed largely to the abandoned projects that have been left to rot, some by the current administration. Well, that's his allegation. Well, that's his assertion of the issue. Away from that story, let's take you to the Electricity Company of Ghana, because the company has disconnected the Accra Technical University for debt owing, that is 1.37 million Ghana cedis.
Go to ECG because its Revenue Mobilization Task Force from the Accra West region has disconnected the Accra Technical University for non-payment of debt amounting to 1.37 million cedis. The task force, as part of efforts to recover monies, visited 5 residential and non-residential facilities, including telecommunication company Airtel Tigo. Airtel Tigo paid 1 million Ghana cedis in debt to avoid disconnection. City News' Fred Duho has more.
The Accra West region of the Electricity Company of Ghana task force is on the field. And basically, they've gone in to engage with managers of the Accra Digital Center, and it's been unfruitful. So they are going to proceed to take them off the national grid. We understand they owe to the tune of over 600,000 Ghana cedis, and all efforts to retrieve that amount of money has proven futile. So they are making all frantic efforts. Communication, all engagement here has broken down, and the ECG says the only alternative left for them is to proceed to take them from the grid, and that would compel them to settle their indebtedness to the company. And this is part of the national exercise to recoup some 5.7 billion Ghana cedis on their national books. But literally, the exercise has been decentralized, so it's been done on regional basis. So the Accra West region, having the Accra Digital Center in its jurisdiction, is trying all efforts to take the money that they couldn't succeed, and they are proceeding now to take them off the national grid. You've gone in there to engage managers of the Accra Digital Center. What has been the engagement like?
Yeah, we made them aware that they owe and that they need to pay up, or we take the power off.
And what did they say to that?
Well, they said they were coming, so we are waiting to hear from them.
Is it the case that they don't have the money to pay? This is a state agency. When you shut them down, obviously it means that their activities here would come to a close. How do we balance the
Well, I wouldn't know whether they are unable to pay or not, but all that we are saying is that we are collecting our debt, because we must also not lose sight of the fact that we are also a state agency. If we don't get our money to operate, we can also come to a close, and that may affect all other people we supply. So we can't allow that to happen because of a few customers who are not paying up their bills. So you either pay us up or we take you off.
We can observe that the task force is going to gain access to where the power station is and then proceed to do what they are basically here for. And there are only 2 things involved. You either pay or you are disconnected. And this particular place has been secured, and they are hoping to find means to gain access and then proceed to take them off the national grid. So that is the main power switch points where the Accra Digital Center is connected to. So the manager in charge of the Accra West region has turned it off, basically to cut power to the entire facility. The gentlemen in your shot, they are opening the power station to gain access to the genset or the plant in order to turn it on to begin with their operations. So there you have it. You see the smoke billowing through the skies, and that literally tells you that the genset has now been turned on as the external power source. Behind me is the task force from ECG engaging management of the Accra Brewery Limited, and basically this engagement is to commend them for their prompt payment of bills. Likewise, the Fan Milk Ghana Limited were also commended for their payment of bills, but the task force moved to Airtel Tigo, where they have been able to redeem themselves by paying 1 million Ghana cedis in order to avoid disconnection. The regional manager, Emmanuel Akini, has been speaking to the media.
Today, we visited 3 different categories of customers. We visited 2 customers, that is Farm Milk and then Accra Brewery. They are customers who pay their bills promptly, so we visited them to commend them and to encourage them to continue paying their bills. You see, once they pay their bills, it will also help us to pay our suppliers. It will also help us to improve our system. It will also help us to expand our system because demand is always growing. And we want to encourage them and let the whole world know that there are loyal customers. There are some also we've also visited and disconnected for non-payment of bills, and then these illegalities that we've just uncovered. You can see illegal connection, direct connection without meters. They've all been disconnected, and we may have to search out them and possibly prosecute them.
The ECG task force from the Accra West region has managed to visit about 5 institutions. 2 of them have been disconnected from the national grid, being the Accra Technical University and then again the Accra Digital Center. But 2 of them also were commended by the task force for their prompt payments, being the Fan Milk Company Limited and the Accra Brewery Limited. We've been to this particular estate known as the Franco Estate, located somewhere around Pokwase. And the discovery here is that a number of accommodations or apartments were connected illegally, and therefore the task force is moving in to take them from the national grid. So essentially today's exercise has generally been peaceful, and they've been able to meet their target as far as the national exercise is concerned. My name is Fred Duho, reporting for City News.
So there's a 1-month-long exercise and is expected to end on April 20, just some 2-3 days away from now. And according to the Electricity Company of Ghana, they've been able to mobilize some 50% of the debt. They are targeting 5.7 billion, but as of now, they've been able to get 50% of it. But the Director of Communications of ECG, William Boatin, says that it's a step in the right direction, and they are hoping to push in more efforts to rake in more of or recover more of the monies that are being owed by the various institutions or individuals. What do you make of this now that this is like an action taken by the utility company to ensure that the monies are being recovered?
Well, I'm actually looking at the sustainability of this particular move. I just don't want to believe that it's sustainable.
It is sustainable.
If this week ends, that's going to be the end of it, because the worry actually here is the level of impunity by some of these state agencies not to honor their obligations as far as the payment of electricity bills are concerned. And this is not individuals that you will say that, well, they had challenges, they went to the ECG, they were not attended to, and they sat down and they have no other option but to continue. But these are businesses or institutions that are running in order to make profit. And so if you use the utility service, you must ensure that you pay. And for me, the conversation must also be extended to looking at how we are able to prosecute offenders, because what I've actually seen is that when they move to these institutions and they are able to get some of their money, they connect these people back. The people are sure that, well, we will pay. And I think that's generally the end of it. But if they're able to prosecute 1 or 2 institutions, I think it will really send strong signals to the perpetrators of this particular.
From what I've also gathered from the electricity company is that it's not that they come in. Well, if you show some level of commitment that you want to pay the money, certainly they are going to still put you on the grid. If you are owing, say, 50,000 Ghana cedis and you are able to pay 20,000 Ghana cedis, and you give them your word that you'll be able to pay the 30,000 Ghana cedis, they'll put you back on the grid. They are ensuring that you show commitment that you can pay, and also you'd be able to make sure that you don't default as and when the money is needed.
Well, for me, I also think that the other challenge is that if people are not paying their bills, especially these businesses who rely heavily on electricity and consume more of it, that's what actually leads to sometimes the revenue losses of the ECG and the push for, tariff increment. I want to believe that if institutions are actually paying their bills as they are required to do, the ECG can also rake in a good amount of revenue, and then the burden on, the payment of high utility tariffs will actually decrease. So let's see what happens after this week ends when the ECG wraps up its revenue mobilization. I must say that they've really done well moving from institutions to institutions all around the country to ensure that people pay their electricity bills. They pay for the electricity they've used to do business, sold and made profits. And the ECG, you can hear them say all the time, is that they are also an institution looking forward to making profits, paying their suppliers and all that. So I think it's high time we ensured that all these things are handled in a manner that is very sustainable.
Of course, so the ECG is doing its job, and as citizens, we also have to play our role by paying what we are consuming. So you're still watching CNR Extra here on CCTV, still to come. Electoral Commission EC sets May 23, 2023 as date for the by-elections to be held in the Kumeu constituency. Stay with us, we'll be back with more stories.
Creamy Plus is a fully skimmed evaporated milk. Creamy Plus is available in a shop near you.
This message has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
You're welcome back. This is CNR Extra here on CCTV. Let's bring you some more stories. And the IGP has met political parties over insightful comments made by some political figures in the political space. Let's bring you that insert.
The Inspector General of Police, George Ekufu-Dampare, has on Monday, April 17, met with the leadership of the New Patriotic Party and the opposition National Democratic Congress over recent happenings on the political front. The meeting, which was called at the instance of the Inspector General of Police, was necessitated by press statements issued by both parties and subsequently followed by petitions to the police service, with each party calling on the police to arrest certain individuals of the other side for alleged offences. At the meeting, both parties were briefed on some policing interventions in place. The political parties were also urged to do their politics and allow the police to do its policing.
So this is a very good initiative by the IGB, because the NDC legal team led by Amaleba petitioned the Ghana Police Service concerning the insightful statement made by Brian Champon, the Agric Minister and also MP for Abitifi. Also, the NPP, led by the National Organizer, Nana Bwachi, Nana Bwachi, yes, also petitioned, also petitioned the IGP or the Ghana Police Service for John Dramani Mahama to be arrested for making the comment of it's going to be a do or die affair in the 2024
and even added the
elections.
national chairman of the NDC for saying that the party will use whatever means to, win the 2024 elections. And for me, 2024 is just around the corner, and for me, I'm just seeing tensions clouding the elections already because of the way and manner the two major political parties are handling their affairs, both internally and externally. And for me, for the NDC in particular, as a government in waiting, I want to believe that they should be very poised in, making sure that they conduct themselves well, especially with their vision of, ensuring that the NPP does not break the 8, given the poor economic, situation we have in the country. The NPP as a party must also ensure that it sends good signals. They do things that actually bode well for, our democracy. It's been well over 30 years since multi-party democracy in the country, and we just don't want to go election violence, insightful comments, things that do not augur well for the political landscape in the country. Just look at the way and manner Henry Boache spoke when the issue of, I was expecting the party to condemn and even take full responsibility and say that, well, he misspoke, we distance ourselves from the party. But in fact, they want to make insinuations and say that, well, what he said is Brian Echampo. Yes. And for you to bring what Mahama said years ago, for him to be arrested, and then, it doesn't augur well for us. So for me, if the political parties have been met by the Inspector General of Police, and the statement in there, if you read the 2-page document, you realize that the police is saying that do your politics in a very decorous manner and allow us to also do our policing. And I want to believe that the police will also ensure that persons who conduct themselves in a manner that is detrimental to the peace and stability of the country should be made to face the full rigors of the law. They should be dealt with devoid of any, political coloration. Whoever you are, the law must deal with you. Because look, given what happened in 2020, we do not want to see any form of tension or violence in 2024.
Speaking about tension and making sure that the tension subdues or subsides in the political space, let's bring you what the Electoral Commission and the date it has set for the Kumewu by-elections.
The Inspector General of Police, George Ekufu-Dampare, has on Monday, April 17, met with the leadership of the New Patriotic Party and the opposition National Democratic Congress over recent happenings on the political front. The meeting, which was called at the instance of the Inspector General of Police, was necessitated by press statements issued by both parties and subsequently followed by petitions to the police service, with each party calling on the police to arrest certain individuals of the other side for alleged offenses. At the meeting, both parties were briefed on some policing interventions in place. The political parties were also urged to do their politics and allow the police to do its policing.
So we will definitely bring you that of the Kumewu by-elections, but the Electoral Commission has set May 23, 2023 for the Kumewu by-elections. We also understand that the NPP, the parliamentary candidate hopefuls on the ticket of the NPP, there are 8, but 2 as of now, their fate have not been determined by the party, and we are expecting that by the close of this week or next week, the party will fully move into the elections of the parliamentary candidate hopeful, and also who is going to stand on the ticket of the NPP for the by-elections.
Well, so the EC actually says that it will be receiving, the nominations from May 2 to May 5 at Setre Kumewu between the hours of 9 a.m. and then 2 p.m. and then to 5 p.m. on each of the days. And so persons who have been cleared by the party and are interested in going ahead can do so. Meanwhile, the filing fee is 10,000 Ghana cedis per candidate, and we know how we got here because of the sudden demise of the Member of Parliament, Philip Baswa, for Kumewu. And so, according to the laws of the country, a by-election must be held. So the Speaker declared that the Electoral Commission has also stepped in. We've seen some persons, including someone from the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Abuaji Da Costa, also trying to make his way to Parliament, among a former Member of Parliament for the same constituency and some other persons who want to lead the NPP on the ticket of the, Kumewu constituency. So the EC has brought its, schedule as an electoral management body. The parties we are hoping will comply, and then the by-election will be held in a peaceful manner, unlike what we saw in Iowa some years ago.
Well, so we are hoping that the by-elections will be held in a peaceful manner, and that the IGP also called on the two biggest political parties, that is the NPP and the NDC, cautioning them that they should go about their political activities in a peaceful manner is also very important. Away from these stories, let's bring you an interesting story. I'm sure you know, or if you don't, then we are telling you that the Galamsey kingpin, Aisha One, is back in Ghana.
And you're welcome back to the City Newsroom. Now, it has emerged that Galamsey kingpin Aisha Juan returned to Ghana after her deportation in 2018 because she says she missed her husband. This was made known by prosecution witness Simon Nyahu, who is an inspector of the Ghana Police Service. Inspector Nyahu, while testifying in court on Monday, revealed that Aisha Juan, during interrogation, indicated that she returned to the country to meet her husband, Prince Amwa. We have more on this report.
Inspector Simon Nyaho, who is currently seconded to the Ministry of National Security as a detective, was part of a team of police officers who investigated Aisha One when the Ghana Immigration Service handed her over to the Ghana Police Service on 2nd September 2022. Inspector Nyaho noted that Aisha One was handed over together with items such as yellow fever vaccination card, COVID-19 vaccination card, non-citizen Ghana card application form with its payment receipt and 2 passports from the People's Republic of China. Inspector Nyaho revealed that the 2 passports had different names. According to him, one of the passports had the name N1 with the date of birth on the passport as July 7, 1986, while the second passport had the name Ruzia 1 with the date of birth being November 7, 1975. Inspector Nyaho indicated that on September 6, 2022, his team was tasked to investigate the circumstances under which the accused person re-entered the country and the activities she was engaged in since her re-entry. As part of investigations, Inspector Nyaho noted that a court order to enable a further search of the residence of the accused person was secured. During a search of the residence, Inspector Nyaho noted that 19 bottles of substances, which was later confirmed by the Ghana Standards Authority to be mercury, 200 pieces of AA cartridges, and a warehouse containing toiletries, groceries, excavator parts, and other Chinese consumables were found in the residence. Inspector Nyaho indicated that during interrogation, the accused person, Aisha One, revealed that she re-entered Ghana through the Aflao port. Queried on why she came into Ghana, according to Inspector Nyaho, she replied saying that she had missed her husband, whose name she gave as Prince Amwa, and that she had come to visit him. Also in court on Monday, the alleged destabilization plot case resumed following the demise of the first accused person, Dr. Makpam. The second accused person, Kafu Idonya, also known as Ezo, opened his defense in accordance with directives by the court. Ezo identified himself as a welder and a farmer. He noted that in 2011, he was nominated as the best farmer in the Hohoe municipality. He said it was in 2019 that he received a call from someone who introduced himself as a soldier and said he needed him to weld signboards in Accra for him. According to Kafu Idonya, the said person was prosecution's witness 3, who is Sule Awaf. He says it was through Sule Awaf that he met Dr. Makpam and that he was told to repair some guns for him. And Dr. Makpam also told him to cut some metal for funeral.
Very interesting. Aisha One is back in Ghana and she came through the Aflao port, and according to her lawyers, she misses her husband. What do you have to say about this?
Well, quite interesting how Aisha has come back to Ghana, looking at the gravity of the case before us as far as illegal mining is concerned. But well, if that's what she said in court, we are just hoping that legal proceedings will continue for us to get to the bottom of this particular issue.
That's all.
Exactly so.
Let's bring you some more stories. And 25 passengers sustained minor injuries after an STC bus hit the back of a tipper truck on the Accra-Cape Coast Highway. Let's bring you that insert.
25 passengers sustained minor injuries after an STC bus hit the back of a tipper truck at Gomwa in the Central Region after losing control. The injured persons, mostly students, are being treated at the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital. Our correspondent Calvin Sete has more.
The accident happened at Gomwa Buduata Junction on the Accra Cape Coast Highway after the bus belonging to the State Transport Corporation lost control. The driver of the tipper truck that was involved in the accident, Kwabna Tewia, indicated that the driver of the STC bus lost control after he encountered a sharp curve at Gomwa Buduata Junction while speeding. In an attempt to prevent the bus from getting involved in the accident, the driver applied the brake, forcing the bus to hit the rear of the tipper truck, resulting in both cars somersaulting. The occupants of the STC bus, who were mostly students, sustained minor injuries and were sent to the Winneba Trauma and Specialist Hospital for treatment. Police and fire officers arrived on the scene to help rescue persons who were trapped in the STC bus. Here is the driver of the tipper truck, Kwabna Tewia, speaking to the media about the accident.
According to Basi, no one more contact. I say, and it's done on the boom. I say, I can't not put in a share, say, I can't. Then you can on the boom. Tina. Any done of my paper. Says, let's be do. Speed on all the banana, not yet. Oh, you know, would see our public or honor, as I say, you know. As I say, you know. Oh, you know, let's be doing speed anymore. I can't go with massive. Speed no different, not yet.
A female survivor of the accident, who was in the STC bus, recounts the incident and says she is happy to be alive.
On our way to that Friday, so we are from STC, the main yard to that Friday. The majority of them were in the STC, most of them are hurt, and they've been sent to the hospital. But then, everything is okay. Nobody died. I just want to thank God. Where I was sitting, it landed on the ground. And people fell on me. But then, I don't know how I managed to escape. I was God. I just want to say it was God. And people out there, don't take your prayers for a joke. Pray. Because prayers actually help. It actually has helped me. And it's has saved my life now. Jesus is real. God is really real. Please pray.
And of course, the good news is that nobody lost his or her life in this fatal or in this accident, let me put it that way. But the drivers must be very cautious when they are driving. You could tell from the videos that it was a wet street and it was raining. So when it's raining and you are driving, you are not expected to go beyond a particular speed limit. Else, if you are to apply the brake, you wouldn't be successful as a driver.
Well, just like you mentioned, we are actually thankful that no one lost his or her life. And for me, looking at the number of people involved in this particular accident, majority of them being students, you could tell that they were actually disturbed and traumatized by the whole incident. You could see from the videos. And even the survivor, you could see from the excitement that she's actually happy that she's been able to come out of this particular crash successfully. Like we have always been saying as journalists, drivers must drive with caution, especially on the Cape Coast Highway, where we know
almost all the highways.
Almost all the highways, exactly, because
highways.
It happens in Kumasi, it happens. I mean, I'm even lost of words because I know the number of times we've spoken about, you know, road traffic accidents as one of the major issues in the country. And if you realize anytime it happens on the Cape Coast Highway, you realize that the victims are always sent to the Winneba Trauma Hospital for treatment, which will tell you that it is actually a major cause of worry as far as public health is concerned. And so for me, we have always been advocating, if you want to arrive safe, you have to drive with caution. And that is what the drivers must do, because lives are always at stake.
Exactly. So we are also waiting on the STC to respond to this issue. Hopefully we would get to hear from them for the causing, exactly the reason that or what led to this particular accident. You're still watching CNR Extra here on CTV, still to come. National Fisheries Association of Ghana called support of the Ghana Navy to undertake fishing activities as piracy increases. Stay with us, we're back with the story.
Anyone can become a household.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Flip, a real estate gaming platform that allows you to play and stand a chance of winning a house or cash or consolidated prizes, such as savings towards a house. Simple and easy to play. Visit www.ugoflip.com. Buy a ticket to enter the game. Wait for the end of the game to enjoy the win. Anyone can win. Flip it or own it. Ugoflip. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. Play responsibly, not for persons below 18 years, and gaming can be addictive.
Welcome back. And the Ghana National Fisheries Association is courting the support of the Ghana Navy to undertake fishing activities. Let's bring you that insert.
So, the National Fisheries Association of Ghana is courting the support of the Ghana Navy to undertake fishing activities. The association says the emergence of pirates who are currently operating in Ivory Coast and Congo-Brazzaville poses a threat to fishermen in Ghana. So the news' Sami Yafe has more.
At a meeting with President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House, the association says the operations of pirates on the high seas is causing fear and panic among members. The association says the assistance of the Ghana Navy will be needed to protect fishermen. Richester Ni Ama Amafio speaks for the association.
We are getting signals that the pirates are coming back. So we hope to go back and meet with the Navy to see what it is that we could do together to carry that process forward.
What is the signals that you want to say?
I think this week we heard that the pirates were in La Côte d'Ivoire and they tried hijacking a ship in Côte d'Ivoire and
Congo.
Yes. And once we
DRC or Brazzaville? But the waters in Brazzaville. And the waters in Côte d'Ivoire. Where?
Abidjan.
Abidjan,
yes.
Not further down.
Not further down.
Okay.
Yes. So it's giving us cause to worry. The other issue has to do with the fact that we used to fish in Benin a lot, but because of the pirates, we are unable to do so anymore. We may probably need to board Navy as we do, but because we can't go with Navy into some other jurisdiction, we will probably need some diplomatic intervention to allow us to board the Navy. Because around this time, most of the fish will be moving towards the east. And so we take license from Benin to be able to fish around by Benin waters so that we could be able to continue with our fishing. Because once the pirates are aware we have Navy on the vessels, they wouldn't come close. So we'll be grateful if it should be possible to deal with that matter to enable us continue with fishing in those waters.
President Akufo-Addo on his part says a discussion will be held with the military high command to protect fishermen and their vessels. He says government will consider all the proposals put before the table by the fishermen.
So the issues that you brought are issues that deserve the wider study. But what I would encourage, I know you think that it's a burden, but I don't think you should look at it, because that is why the ministry is there, is that as much as possible, and issues come, let that be your first port of call. Discuss with them, because she also has a way of being able to escalate the discussions when she thinks that a policy issue needs to be determined, to bring it here, or even more significantly, to bring it to cabinet, and let us and use that occasion to be able to do it. But I think that the matters that you have brought here, especially about the boatyard, Gihawk, the restoration of all these facilities, are matters we will look into very closely with her, and you will get some feedback from us as to the way forward. The other issues, marine oil, fuel, and subsidies on them, these are matters where the finance minister will also have to come in for us to look to what extent.
So there's a two-way affair. The Fisheries Commission, that is a Fisheries Association rather, or the fisher folk are asking for support from the Ghana Navy as they go on fishing expedition, looking at the concerns they are raising about pirates or piracy on the high seas.
Philip, you remember in the past we were dealing with, Chinese vessels and all manner of things. And so the Fisheries Commission, as you say, are now concerned about, piracy on high seas, which we can also refer to as blue crimes. And for me, I think Ghana, just last year, Ghana developed a document to shape this particular kind of, blue economy we are seeing. And so a document was actually enacted, which is the Maritime Strategy Monitoring document to check some of these things, and it's expected that by 2040 some of these things will be dealt with. And for me, as we speak now, I think we can only make use of our security agencies. In this particular case, the Ghana Navy. The Ghana Navy, yes. The Fisheries Commission is actually caught its support to ensure that some of these things are checked. These things ought to be checked because we know that majority of Ghanaians who live at the coastal areas actually depend heavily on fishing for other economic activities and gains. And so if you're having to deal with piracy on our seas, it will tell you that it goes a long way to affect livelihoods and also the whole maritime ecosystem we have as a country. And so maybe the time is now for us to put words to action and ensure that the laws that we have developed as a country to check some of these things are actually enforced, because I do not think that we live in a vacuum, that there is nothing to show or there's nothing to help deal with some of these things. And so for me, be as it may, if the commission has met the president and has laid this particular issue before him, he's also giving his assurances that will ensure that the Navy comes in to ensure this. Let's see how it pans out.
Exactly. So let's see how this pans out, and also let's see how the Ghana Navy will support the Fisheries Association to fight piracy on high seas. This is how we end today's edition of CNR Extra here on City TV. My name is Philip Nilate. I did this with Nilate Elate. Many thanks for your time, and keep watching City TV.